Crimson Widow. There she is. Another much anticipated.
I'm just gonna say this. I know everyone keeps trying to say otherwise, but this is a historical character.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just saying, guys. Just
genuinely.
Saying. I know everybody says there's no historical character.
Well, and yeah, there's a huge debate about it. They're like, well, this one has some sci-fi effects. This one has some, and it's like when they go to Valhalla, you have to remember when they arrive to Valhalla, they're arriving from their world of origin, and their world of origin is set in that time period they come from. And Sergeant so even Drake, though they have, Sergeant Drake may have a grappling gun and a katana, but he did not have that on Earth. He got that on Valhalla, so you have to remember that the timeline that they're from, that's what makes them historical. It's not what they have on Valhalla that makes them historical. It's what they came from, if that makes sense. And so, in all respects, based on the terminology, Crimson Widow is a historical character because she comes from a historical time period. But she may look futuristic because she's been on Valhalla this time. I had to clear that out because I know everybody's fighting. There's the whole debate. That thing's been going on forever.
She got some gear, but I mean, she still looks, ready to go. It seems like
Earth.
Yeah, it's still. I mean, you still have like these shoes. Look like from Pirate Times a little bit. You got the like little square top. So
you have to. They changed their clothes on Valhalla. I promise. They're still from Earth.
Taco, we don't do fantasy Costco here. What are you talking about?
God. It's not even fantasy. It's not even fantasy Costco. You have to ask the question: how does Ular know how to use the rifles? Man made a rifle for Deadeye Dan. Okay, the Kiri are pretty smart. So
all right, let me read the lore here for Crimson Widow. We just have Crimson Widow. Do we actually? Here, let me read this and let me see if we actually know her real name. Even before the discovery of the Wellsprings, Einar ruled with an unshakable belief in obedience. Deserters from his ranks were rare and punished severely. His inner circle remained steadfastly loyal, save for one. He would never admit how much it troubled him that even just one had dared to reject a place among the Golden Palace's select few. Several years into the alliance, Einar's visions turned into Earth's South China Sea, revealing a new path for his ambitions. Ports along the Durgath River, granting Lidsfarm access to the ocean, and the shores of neighboring lands. To command this expansion, he summoned a woman of legend, a fierce pirate and fearless captain, the daughter of a renowned pirate queen. He pulled her from the brink of death during a raid, offering her not just survival but praise, wealth, and an honored place at his court. In return, she would trade the life of a pirate for that of a regal commander, leading a fleet of golden sails in his name. Within a fortnight, she vanished. It's like, boom, we're done.
Yeah.
The finery from her quarters was gone, so she took it.
Yep.
So was she, drifting downriver on a raft, gold in hand. Once a pirate, always a pirate, of course. Years passed, but when a crimson fleet began harassing his attempts to expand into Valhalla's waters, Einar knew at once who was responsible. Why? He wondered. Was she not grateful? Had he plucked her from the same cruel fate that had claimed her mother and her wretched kin? He had given her everything she could have dreamed of under his empire. She answered with poison, administered to Einar's wellspring by her own hand. See, the one thing I was going to actually ask is, because we haven't heard too much lore about Einar and what's going on with him during this timeline. Well, boom, there we go. Yep. We get our answer there.
Yep. I asked if that was something we could on while we're working through the stories, is right. Kind of catch everyone up on each of the bits. because it's like we have the Age of Annihilation Master Set, we have the Peace Summit, that event, that was the starting event of the whole story, right? It's like that was started everything. So it's like kind of like following up or like prequel stuff, things that led up to that point. That's a lot of the things that we work on for these bios, and that was one thing I wanted to see, was like at least some sort of clear way of showing people the different states of the Valkyria during this time period. This was a big part of that, was like, okay, well, Einar, did he get poisoned or not? You know, what happened to him? And while I was thinking that and working on ideas for this, I remembered, of course, the first paragraph in reference, right? This is who it's in reference to. I remembered about Shiori, right? And it was one of the interesting things I thought personally from the original story. I thought it was very interesting how, like, every time they talk about Einar, he's always about, you know, obedience and marching and diligence and duty and you know, the glory and all this stuff. And you know,
I'm really surprised Garrett and Lightfolly got away with it, to be perfectly honest.
And that's the theory, because it's like he always presented himself as someone that you would have to obey. But then there's Shiori, who just was like, heck, none of that, right? She literally bounces and then ends up becoming his representative in the Alliance Party. Like, that was funny to me, because I was like, out of all the people, all the loyal, all the disciplined, all the warriors, Shiori got picked. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, what if that bothered him? What if that really got under Einar's skin? He's just sitting there this whole time like, really? Like, he's just like, I can't believe she just ditched me. Like, I provide all these, and so in a way, it's like kind of showing this side of him where he's like, as he's summoning, you know, what he thinks while he's summoning, and he's thinking that he's providing answers to these people. He's like, yeah, I'm saving you from your past. I'm saving you from your current state.
So you have to do as I tell you.
You know, help me conquer this land, and then, you know, you will continue to receive praise and these gifts. But he's not understanding that people are individuals. He's not understanding that,
especially
you can't
pirates,
just offer people stuff, and especially pirates, mind you. But you know, he's just like, no, if I give them stuff, they'll do what I say. And he has to learn the lesson.
She's like, nope,
time.
Take it.
Yeah,
she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna steal all this. It gives me like Jack Sparrow vibes just a little bit, you know.
I wanted, and so the funny thing is, the pirate that she is actually based on is in Pirates of the Caribbean. So
okay,
you can actually the historical reference that the reference that she is, or the reference that she makes, like her design and everything that she's referenced, is a pirate known. I have to pronounce the name right, because she goes by a bunch of names.
Clearly, you've never been to Singapore.
Qingxi. Or it's a Zheng Yi Sao is the pirate name.
Okay.
And she was a pirate queen during, let's see, pirate queen in China, right? From the 1800s. There you go. That's what I was looking for. So she's a pirate queen in China in the 1800s, and she was described as one of the most successful pirates ever in history. And one of the main reasons why was like, and this was funny because it kind of went back to what Dadscaper, I remember the conversation we had with Dadscaper over the design of the pirates when he brought up Crimson Widow, was that he realized, when he did his studies, he realized that one of the main things why pirates did what they did was because they got paid. And as I was doing research about Zheng Yi Sao, it literally is the same concept. But one of the main reasons why she was such a successful pirate in history was because she took care of her crew. And I was like, all right, we definitely have to mention that. And so I wanted to make sure that part of it at least was referenced as you know, her connection to the South China Sea, and especially how she took care of her. Because, you know, hire crew, it's literally part of her kit is turning someone into a pirate. So.
And how about we actually open that up right now?
Very fun.
I gotta actually. This is another one.
I proxied her back in 2022. So if that tells you how excited I was for this character, I proxied her back when it was just a crowdfund con, and oh man, I had a blast. That was a lot of fun to play. I scared a lot of people because those powers are great.
For sure. Yeah, let's read into them. So Einar, Crimson Widow, And so we don't know. Well, the name you said was her real name, basically, correct?
No, that is her. So if you read the lore, she's the daughter of
Okay, the daughter. Okay, so we don't know her real name then at the moment. I mean, we know she's Crimson. We know she's a widow. She was married months then, apparently.
Well, so widow is a reference.
Okay.
Because it is actually, if you dig into it, all references their pirate history.
Okay.
So I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Pirate lore is.
I'm gonna read
pirate history is its own thing.
Reading card. Okay. Crimson Widow, 5 life, move of 5, range 1, attack 4, defense 3, 150 points. And there's a reason she's 150 points. Human, unique hero, captain, bold, medium 5. Because of this higher crew, and this is going to be for any type of pirate army build, this is going to be kind of necessary for this type of pirate build. At the start of a game, you may choose a unique squad in your army. For this game, the chosen squad's class becomes pirate, replacing the class listed on its army card. And I can imagine like some tournament scenarios. I think they're called general wars, to where you have to have your army of like whatever units you have. Like each card has to be a different general, I think.
With general wars, it has to be the same general.
Oh, same general. Okay. There's another tournament to where you got to have different generals. Actually, I forget.
I was so close to getting a 4-0. I'm so mad. I'll never recover. That was so close. I know it's a completely different topic, but every time I hear General Wars, like, oh.
But I know there's tournaments out there with the exact opposite, to where you need separate generals.
Separate generals.
And so you can have an potential army build where you do have separate generals, because you have your pirates that and Crimson Widow though can then make another pirate crew of from a different general who's not pirates to begin with, and make them pirates, then you still have a complete pirate army. I know that Soloscaper was theory crafting some of this when he was reviewing this wave, and was talking about Crimson Widow quite extensively. Was saying like some of the for like Valhalla customs for like brute gruts might be a fun one for higher crew, and I'm just like, I kind of agree with that. So lots of good uses for that.
Sure.
And you got Pirate Commander. While there is an order marker on Crimson Widow, all pirates you control increase their attack value by 1 when attacking adjacent figures. So with Pirate Commander, with the last unique squad we looked at, also can increase their attack value.
Get a bonus attack. Yep.
It's no area of effect. It doesn't matter.
You just have to have one order mark. Now, that includes the X order marker. Because if you read it, it says while there is an order marker. The only reason if an X order marker, because it acts as a decoy, so you don't activate it. If the power doesn't say when you activate, you can use an X order marker for that.
Yep. There you go.
So that means you can have Pirate Commander active at all times if you don't plan on using your decoy at any point.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
This is where and I mentioned earlier where I was scaring my friends back in the day when I was proxying her. This was where that fear came from, because it was like, how are you getting Pirate Commander and Midnight Raid at the same time? X order marker every time. Like, it was just
okay. Let's read this. Before taking a turn with Crimson Widow, you may reveal the X order marker which you've placed for Pirate Commander.
That's why it incentivizes X users.
On its army card to choose up to 2 pirates you control within 6 clear sight spaces of Crimson Widow. You may move. Okay, so this one is attack boost. This one is a movement boost, and so you can just decide which one that you're going to use, but you can't use both in the same round, which is a nice balance. That's a nice balance for that. If you're going to make use of the X order marker, so nice.
Now, hear me out. This is one thing I was doing back in the day. Right, Crimson Widow, Admiral EJ1M, Samurai, Izumi Samurai, right? And so I hired the Azumi Samurai as a pirate crew, changing their class to pirate.
My gosh.
And then I would activate Midnight Raid, sending them forward. And then I was able to use Boarding Party special attack because they had already moved 3 spaces ahead with Midnight Raid, that I was able to use Boarding Party to get them into adjacency, increasing the Admiral's attack every shot. It was really fun. I was messing around a lot with characters. Like,
there's so many uses.
So you can do some really good stuff with pirates. I'll tell you what. And that's just like a 3-step combo. It's because you place your X on her, right? You place the one. Well, because you don't even place the X on her. You can continue to mess with your opponent because you place everything on the Admiral. Because then you use Admiral's orders to adjust your orders so that they can't prepare for the raid. Then you put the X on her, right? So then you can activate Pirate Commander, then move the characters.
And
then you reveal the X, activate Midnight Raid, move the 2 characters, activate Boarding Party, shoot, move, get the bonus attacks. It's fun. It's a fun clear. You do it right, it's a fun kill, but a lot of people freak out. And then it makes the Admiral like the #1 target on the map. So it's really funny. You better protect them as soon as you do that, because then they realize what you just did and they're like it's funny though. I love this. I love this setup. If you do it right, it's a lot of fun.
I think we're going to see a lot of masterful combinations with Unitt and others in the future for sure.
I played so much pirates back in 2022. I have all my little crafts memorized. I'm ready. I'm gonna bring these guys to the table.
I can't wait. Like a year from now, like Gen Con next year is going to be like so intense, the competition, because you don't have just these, you're gonna have more stuff too, whatever they announce release coming up in the fall next year and stuff, depending on how far they want to go. But yeah, okay, so that's taking a look at Crimson Widow. We still have more to go through, but I just want to say that necessary definitely for your army build. Well worth it, and well worth the wait. Finally, she is here.